Welcome to the AstralTulpaWizardCast, I think it is. Going back from the previous episode, we got Lau.
Hello.
Yeah, you're back.
Well,
And then we
it's
got
me.
a third guy, Kitty Hat. You want to introduce
Yeah,
yourself?
I'm Kitty Hat. I am the progenitor of the Arizona Tulpa cult,
Nice.
of a legendary status. Just kidding, no one knows me because I'm in like no Discord channels, but whatever.
It's a little bit notorious on a couple discords.
It's notorious, but no one actually knows anything about it, which is why I'm here to explain
Yes.
the history behind it. Because there's a lot to talk about, which is why I wanted a podcast
Yeah.
feature, and here we are.
All right, so tell me, how did it begin? How did this Arizona cult begin?
I can just get right into it. I was a brony in 2010.
Lol.
And yeah, we all had our 2010 through 2013 phase. I'm
Yeah.
gonna call that. Like dude, everyone has a story from like 2012. So yeah, I was big into pony shit, and I browsed /MLP a lot,
Yeah.
and that's when I came across the Tulpa generals that used to be on there. Yeah, the idea of a Twilight Sparkle Tulpa was like so fucking intriguing to me at the time, because I was going through some really rough shit in my life at the time, and it was like the perfect form of escapism for me. And so yeah, I just got sucked into it, and I mean, I don't regret it.
Yeah.
It's been great. It's been a great 6 years, or well,
9.
great in my headspace. There's still life shit going on, but it's a great coping mechanism. I love my tulpa. That's it. I don't have a Twilight Sparkle tulpa. I should have mentioned that.
It
Oh.
wasn't very
Yeah,
long
no,
lasting.
how long was that shit?
It was not very long from what I remember.
So I started forcing like, I don't know, October of 2012, and I didn't get like sentience until December, which is what her first memory is. Started getting like tulpish speak back.
Yeah.
I had asked her at some point because I'd come to the realization like, okay, what if she doesn't want to be this? And so I'm like, all right, I better like check to make sure. And so I just like said, hey, yeah, you can just be whatever you want and whatever name you want. And so she kept the pony thing because it was easy to visualize.
Yeah.
Because we were already working on that at the time. Yeah, so now she's a gray horse named Kaylee, and she's been that way ever since.
Nice.
And the rest is history.
Even though I haven't watched the show in like 5 years.
Damn.
I don't know. It's still top cozy. But yeah, that happened. I have 9 Tulpa now.
Oh.
And yeah,
I didn't know that.
It's been a ride. There's many factors to that. The social thing is one, which I'll get into the Tulpa cult thing real soon. But yeah, I also have really severe ADD, which had a problem with walk-in shit. I had several walk-ins. I can talk more about this later, but I want to talk about how the Tulpa cult came to be. I'm pretty sure Lola was the first to join in on this, because
Yes.
I was not shy about it at the time. Like I still hid it from my parents, whatever. But I had a lot of IRL friends that I was top homies with, and I'm still top homies with. I had no problems telling several people about this shit.
You were literally like turn around in class, like, hey dude, have you heard about this thing called like Tulpa? And I'm like, what? And you're like, oh, it's insentient imaginary friends. Like, that sounds really neat.
Yeah.
And here we are.
Literally, here we are.
Yeah. Like,
So I should get a head count of how many people, because okay, all this was in high school.
Yeah.
And so the high school is a strange and turbulent period of time for most of us. People were latching onto strange new ideas, and so I ended up I directly influenced how many people? Okay, there was I directly influenced 5 people to make a Tulpa. Yeah, so that happened. That was like early 2014 when it like really started to catch on.
and then I believe since then we have a couple friends who've spread it farther.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, a couple of them have spread it further because
And we don't know
Ken
all
got
these people personally, but
Ken got his girlfriend to do it, and then his girlfriend got people who were living in the same house as her to do it. And at one point, her house was full of like, I think it was 5 Tulpamancers living in one house.
Whoa.
Which still baffles me that it was so awkward because I've been over to that house a few times, and they'll just like start talking with their Tulpa as if they're like roleplay characters. It's crazy. It's absolutely nutty.
That's amazing.
And like, there's an adult in the same house who just thinks it's all role playing shit. It's like it's the greatest ruse of all time.
The ultimate ruse.
The ultimate ruse. And okay, so the person to introduce that, which was my friend's girlfriend. Okay, that was the person who had many Tulpa, and I want to talk about this because when we discovered how easy it was to make Tulpa off of pre-existing characters,
Like like a
that's-
character you've made or a character from.
like an OC, yeah. We didn't realize that this person already had like dozens of original characters.
Actually, hundreds.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
So that shit spiraled really quickly, but I fully trust her. I am fully convinced that she has the parallel processing to handle all this shit. And part of the reason why is because she got some placebo going on for her. And this is where I categorize two different types of tulpamancers between spiritual and mental.
Psychological, yeah.
Yeah, psychological. So like if you're psychological, you just realize that it's using the same part of your brain that allows you to have like conversations with other people, like but
Like
not actually.
You can like
Like,
imagine
you're
what someone else
yeah.
would say.
Yeah, exactly. You use that part of your brain to build off of it and then create its own little black box. And the spiritual side of things, I still need to dig deeper into this because I don't know too much about it. But they believe that that Tulpa are entirely separate in soul. I think 3 of them claimed to have Tulpa that could traverse the astral plane.
Nice.
And that shit was pretty fucking whack, which I thought was great. And I had some stories come out of this where a Tulpa would like just pretty much just flat out leave the head. Like the person could not talk to this Tulpa until they got back, and they would come back and they would talk about something that happened in somebody else's wonderland, and they would ask that person who owned the wonderland, and it would check out.
Oh.
And that shit was nutty. And
Wasn't there actually drama that started?
there was
because of
literally
this?
drama between 2 of them. Like I don't know the whole story, but some Tulpa started
It's
shit in somebody
wild.
else's wonderland and they didn't want him there. And I don't know, dude. The spiritual side of it is really whack. I wish to high heaven that we could.
Imagine high school drama and high school gossip about like Tulpas traveling to other people's astral planes. Like, oh my god, did you hear what that other Tulpa
Literally,
did?
that's
Like,
what it
oh my
was.
god.
It was more so like
That's
early
exactly
college,
what it is.
but also
No,
yeah.
that was in
Was
junior.
it in
that
high
was in
school?
No, it was in senior.
Oh,
Yeah,
no,
that was
you're
in
right.
senior. Where do I back up? And I don't know any like juicy details. All I know is that there was stuff that happened between them.
Yeah, we know the
Um,
one person really well, and the other 2 were kind of like adjacent friends, or like
yeah,
one
they
of
were-
them.
they were-
Yeah,
I don't want to bring any of this shit up. That like,
yeah.
for a
We don't
fact.
have to go into specifics, but
Okay,
we can,
yeah, it was.
we can go about more into the history of like the cult and like how
Yeah.
it spread.
Okay, it was 2 good friends, one of which her mom's friend's daughter lived in the same house as her. She got introduced to Tulpa and latched onto it really hard because, as it turns out, she had 2 imaginary friends that didn't leave. So she already had Tulpa. And I don't remember their names. That's why she was so into it. And she was one of the spiritual people. All the girl Tulpamancers that we know were spiritual. Those were all girls.
Yeah, of
And then
course.
all the males are
Left brain, right brain.
mental. Yeah, I know it's funny, but yeah, spiritual versus mental. That's what was going on, and neither side could properly explain how their brains worked at the time. So it was so jarring.
It's
Okay,
still
so
kind
there
of
was
scary.
going back to the high school thing. There was one more Tulpamancer I didn't bring up yet, and it was a friend of mine who was a girl. She was not on the mental side of things, and this is Lowell already knows where this is going. She latched on to the idea of Tulpa like as a social thing. And wanted to do it to fit in with our friend group because like it was literally like 8 people, and she felt like pressured to be into this because it was a strange time where she was
Yeah.
already kind of drifting away from us, and she
Yeah.
wanted to stay relevant in our friend group,
Yeah.
and she lied about having Tulpa for an entire year and a half, and it was incredibly fucking spicy. No one talks to her anymore.
Oh,
Really good reason.
partially due
Yeah.
to that reason. Yeah, definitely.
damn.
That
And
was
it's
the
just-
root of it. That was the actual root of it.
It's just kind of surreal when you
Like-
think you know people that are part of another person, and it's just like, oh, they're gone now. It's like, what?
Yeah, either she had killed 7 Tulpa or she had lied about it for a year and a half. Both options are equally distressing.
Do you all have like at least 5? Because it seems like you all gain like really high numbers.
I have.
Okay, this group of people is
It's a little bit
is
disproportionately
unique.
high.
It's unique.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's mostly because I could not control my ADD brain at the time and had a few walk-ins, and it kind of like planted that idea in other people's heads that it was like okay to have a lot of Tulpa. Whereas
is also, like,
most
back
of the
in the
rest
day.
of the
Yeah.
community,
Yeah, still
yeah, most of the community like doesn't encourage that for a lot of good reasons. But I don't know, it doesn't seem unhealthy to me, and it's hard to explain how I feel about the matter because I haven't experienced having one like very well developed Tulpa. Instead, I have a 9 that all use the same framework, but like they're still really richly personality defined, and they have really complicated forms in our Wonderland is insane, but like I don't know, maybe if I stuck with like just 2 Tulpa, I could have done like visual imposition by now. Who knows? Doesn't matter anymore. It's a weird thing to think about. You just have to get good at parallel processing.
Yeah.
And that I did. I actually have a quick story about that because over
You
the
want to
summer,
quick explain parallel processing?
Oh, yeah. So parallel processing is the idea that your Tulpa can have a train of thought at the same time that you're having a train of thought, or your Wonderland can be doing something in the background while you're not paying any attention to it, and your Tulpa are affecting it on their own. For example, a lot of people, when they have one Tulpa and they're just like starting out, a Tulpa will change stuff in the Wonderland while they're gone. That's a really common thing to happen. That's an example of parallel processing. Yeah, I've gotten to the point where one of my Tulpa has a garden in the Wonderland, and the plants grow in like a real time, but it's scaled up like 10 times, and like they have different seasons and stuff. And so I saw a couple of Tulpa like drinking lemonade one day, and I asked about it, and they said like it was in season and it synced up with like actual citrus season in real life, and I was like, what the fuck is this?
I mean, do you know a lot about flowers and stuff?
No, I don't.
Oh.
That's the thing. It's like, I don't know. Subconscious processes so much information that I have no idea about. Like it is.
Yeah, it's wild.
It's ridiculous. At this point, I've kind of just stopped like caring about how parallel processing works and just trust it because goddamn, it's hard to comprehend and it's insanely powerful. And yeah, Tulpa are crazy, dude.
Yeah.
Crazy. Going back to high school in 2014, when it was around like the peak Tulpa period, when all of us were like forcing and talking about it and shit, and we literally had a journal that we would like hand back and forth.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, that was pretty good. I still have both of them.
Well, now it's like a Minecraft world more than anything.
Oh yeah, there's also the Minecraft server where everyone built like landmarks from their Wonderland in it.
It's a little bit goofy, but it's really wholesome.
It's very good. Oh my god,
that sounds beautiful,
dude. And some of ours are like super accurate too. Like Toby's, his Wonderland house is like a 1-for-1 recreation. It's fucking
he's really good at building too.
Yeah, he's just good at building Minecraft shit. So it was a coincidence. And then Brandon doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. But
and then
whatever.
the Minecraft is a representation of the Wonderlands, and then your Tulpas travel to other people's Wonderlands.
Okay, no. I was gonna get. Oh yeah, actually, I can go to that because we have like a shared Wonderland that we have as like a backup Wonderland that doesn't. Nothing actually happens in it unless we want to like interact with other Tulpa. And so the way you interact with other Tulpa cross-head is you have a servitor that looks like another person's Tulpa that is controlled by the text that person gives you, and it's surprisingly effective. I'll say that. So we also discovered about that in like 2014.
It's just a way for your Tulpa to like, do stuff with other Tulpa through the internet.
Yeah. So you can have Tulpa on Tulpa like physical interactions through text, and we found this out. I found this out with Ken. It was quite a rush finding out that your Tulpa can have sex with another Tulpa out of head.
Cyber transhumanism now.
I will never forget that night that happened. That was insane.
Oh my god.
This is cyber transhumanism. Holy shit.
Literally, it's oh my god, it's crazy. This is the time when I was like discovering my sexuality too, and so it was like such a strange period of my life. At one point, so we actually got regular with this shit for a while.
The cell phone.
And my fucking mom found my text history after that, because my mom's like crazy right-wing religious like super protective parent, or she was at the time. It's hard to deal with, but I've since figured out how to live with her. But at the time, yeah, she found my phone and read the text history and asked the most bone-chilling question I've ever heard, which was, "Who's Euclid?" And I'm like, "Oh my god!" just the name on my telephone.
Oh no! Euclid takes over and starts fighting.
Oh my god! She was so confused, and I was scared. It was a strange.
How do you deal with that? It's like the worst case situation in that case at that age.
I don't remember how I dealt with it. So my backup like excuse if somebody actually finds out about Tulpa that I don't want to know about Tulpa, it's roleplay characters to me, you know?
Yeah.
It's
just
well, make a collaborative story all together, you see?
Yeah, they just fuck.
It's literally easier to say you're a furry in like roleplay than it is that you have
Yeah, I'm not gonna just drop a bomb and say, "Oh yeah, I'm plural."
Which I guess is like a thing you can say now. Like,
no, it's not.
People have done it. Yeah. Oh my god.
People have done it, but I don't think you should. That's the difference.
That's
But
true.
I'm glad that people are making steps.
It's
towards
way more like
normalizing
of a
that.
thing. Yeah, doing it now versus doing it like 2014. Like you
But yeah,
might not go to a mental asylum.
I'm not gonna just like drop that kind of information for a long while. I don't think I'm ever gonna make it public.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe if one day it becomes like that accepted. I don't know. Who knows?
2078.
2078.
You're like 60 years
20
old. God,
When I was your age,
I made tulpas before it was cool.
back in my day, we followed Feedy's methods and tones.
Listen to my
God.
tones.
Oh my god, all those guides were a fucking meme.
I know.
Can I talk about like my early forcing phase? 'Cause
Yeah.
When I was first starting out, I followed a lot of those guides rigidly, and they didn't help. Spoiler alert: they sucked because everyone's brain is wildly different as it turns.
Yeah.
And you just kind of got to find out what works for you. And what worked for me was not a lot of what I read. Yeah, I don't know. I just wanted to yell at guides and say that they fucking suck.
Dude,
Yeah.
listen to his tones. What are you doing?
I don't know. I mean, I've considered writing my own guide, but then I'm like, I'll just be that guy.
I've
who just,
I've
like,
definitely
says, oh yeah,
started.
all brains work this way. I'm like, I mean, there are certain assumptions that you can make to your brain that make things easier. Like if you assume things, they get easier.
Yeah.
That you got to assume your Tulpa
Yeah.
sentient.
If you assume your Tulpa sentient, it will be. If you assume your Wonderland has parallel processing, it will. Like it's as simple as that. That's the best guide I can give you. It's just that self hypnosis is really the key word here, and that's just how Tulpa be. I gotta talk about a couple more things from the high school days. Is one of which excellent meme. Possession Thursdays. We literally had a day between classes where we'd have a Tulpa possessed.
Yep.
Wear a button on our shirt to like show people who it was.
To be honest, I
they would
never did this much.
possess and talk with like each other. And
This
it was
too much for me.
It was so fucking surreal. And a couple of our friends who like didn't have Tulpa and didn't know what they were so fucking confused. It was hilarious. And they were just like, "What?"
It's like
what are they
opposite
doing?"
day.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, because you literally do act like a completely different person. Like that's the end goal with possession.
Oh.
And just having that was so jarring. And I did it so much during high school. I rarely possess anymore. I followed out of practice like super hard. I used to be able to get like swap in like a matter of like 20 seconds. Now it takes like, I don't know, 2 minutes.
That's all in your head too, right? Because you
I
can
know.
do it instantly.
I've tried. No, I know it's theoretically instant, but I just haven't figured out what method works for my brain yet that allows for that. The most efficient method I've found so far is janky, and it works, so I'm not going to question it. But it's janky and slow.
Personally, I kind of like very immediately got over the possession barrier. It was like, oh yeah, this makes sense. You just do it, and not everyone's like that. And so people ask me, it's like, oh, Lowell, how do you possess quickly? Because you can do it, and it's like, just do it. And it's just not
it's
very
hard to
helpful.
explain it once you have anything down, which it sucks.
Because everyone
It
works
sucks, but,
differently,
that's
yeah.
that's just how brains work.
It's really, you just have to find someone's brain who's similar to yours, and like kind of like ask them for mentorship almost. It's like, how did you do it? How can you help me? Like, give me advice and like make me think about my brain and how I would make a Tulpa personally.
My favorite possession meme from high school is when Lowell would have his Tulpa Cynthia possess, and then suddenly Lowell would start swearing, which Lowell never did at the time, and then his Tulpa is just like a fucking sailor.
Still is.
Use the oh my god. Just used the opportunity to its fullest to make Lowell's body swear, and it was good entertainment for all.
Nice. And you get suspension for like cursing or something, and you gotta say that it was a Tulpa.
It was outside the school, so I luckily never had to deal with that.
There's a bunch of weird shit. So the one girl I was talking about before who like faked Tulpa for a year and a half.
Yeah.
She was actually part of this, which makes the period of time even more confusing. It's like, was she just like acting? Like, I'm so confused by everything that's going on. Yeah, she was like acting out other Tulpa, and it was very bizarre.
It's just
to think about in retrospect.
It's so weird, and it's one of those things where it's like you can quit Tulpa. But it's like, is it morally right to? Is it like, I don't know. It's a weird question to talk about and think about.
I don't know. There's so many bizarre moral questions that pop up when you start talking about Tulpa and start introducing the concept of Tulpa to other things. Like, like you said, like if you stop forcing, is
Yeah,
that
'cause
like
you-
ethical? Or...
Your tulpa will go away if you forget about them, because at least the way I believe is this, to a degree they're they're a memory, or they're an ego, or they're a part of your brain. So if you forget them, they're gone. Like, is that okay to do? Like, I mean,
at the same time, I find it very hard to believe that somebody could entirely forget about something like that. And
yeah,
the residual memory existing could totally bring it back under the right conditions.
Yeah, it's like riding a bike.
That's
You
just
can't
how
forget
I feel.
it.
Yeah, it's muscle memory. And like I was gonna say, I actually wanted to bring this up as a topic of the podcast. I have a dumb. I don't know if it's a theory. I don't know how to explain it, but I've just been like taking these last few years to figure out how my head works, which is just a product of Tulpa forcing and all that shit.
Yeah.
And one of the ways I visualize how my mind works is through the concept of mind APIs. And so an API is a thing on a computer that it's like a block of code that handles a certain task. Like there's an API for like a network driver that handles Wi-Fi, or like an API for a set of code that allows you to render 3D graphics, something like that. So computers have a bunch of APIs, and I feel like the brain has way more, and they develop with like new skill sets. So like muscle memory is under this umbrella term. Yeah, like you said, just walking, the task of walking is a mind API, or how I see it. Or if you're getting into like mental things, memory recall, the way you recall memories and how that process is specific to you and nobody else, that's a mind API that you've developed just by existing and using your brain. I don't know, just stuff like that. And what I was theorizing is that Tulpa run off the same mind API that allows you to interact with other persons without actually talking to them. Like if you imagine a response that they'd have, or have a fake argument with them in the shower or whatever.
or like writing a character for a book.
Stem from that, but
Yeah.
you develop the hell out of them, obviously. And that leads to another dumb theory that I have, that I don't actively believe this, I just think it's like on the back burner for everybody, is I truly do believe that everybody in the world has a servitor of everyone they've met. And a servitor is a type of thought form like a tulpa, but non-sentient. They just kind of exist as like a memory object. It's
Like
That's
a
a good
dream
way to
character.
describe it.
Like a dream character.
okay. You should you tell me if I'm making no sense. I have no idea how.
No,
it
it's
sounds
like
when
a
I'm
dream
saying this kind of
character.
shit.
It's not sentient or something, but it's like a character in your head that acts differently and all that.
Yeah. So, for example, in the Wonderland, it's very common to have servitor pets. You can have servitor pets.
Nice.
Like if you just emulate the brain of an animal, minus certain things, like I don't know, you don't want this freaking servitor pet to poop. You could just remove that, or just. But yeah, it's really easy to make servitor pets. Servitors don't have to be like living things. They can also be certain functions in your headspace. Like for a while I was trying this out to have a heads-up display servitor
Yes.
that would layer over my vision, and
Nice.
so I could have like a mini map / compass, or like an objective marker, or like.
New
I
quest.
actually got this. I got this down for a while because I was super into Fallout 3 at the time, and I'm like, that'd be so cool. And yeah, I did that. It was not practical at all, but I figured out how to do it. So that
That's
was the
amazing.
fun part.
What if you just made a clock tulpa that just like managed your time?
Okay,
I've-
that would be funny.
I've met people like that, where someone was like, "This is my servitor that drives cars for me," and we're like, "What?
A self-driving car servitor.
This is my servitor that like does my homework," and it's like, "What? That doesn't even make any sense. What are you doing?"
Wait. So you mean like they let a servitor possess them and
They
then do
were-
their homework?
They were. It was literally. That's just an example. The car one was the one that happened where it was like they're like, "Oh, I had to drive someone to the hospital, and I was so panicked, I made a servitor do it." And like everyone in the chat was just like, "What? Like, what does that even mean?"
That is, dude.
Like-
That is next level shit. That is 3,000 IQ plays. That's amazing.
You have a different servitor for every single video game you play. You have a Minecraft servitor, you have a Counter-Strike servitor.
I was gonna get to this actually because in my Wonderland, I have gotten this down to a fucking pat. I can emulate games in my Wonderland so well. Like I can play full Smash Brothers matches with my Tulpa like in real time, and like have a 4-player match going on, and it's insane. Yeah, dude, it's great. It's so great. I'm
You're
glad
so
I practiced
high
the hell out of
IQ.
this. Dude,
You don't
the
need video
highest IQ
games.
shit.
You can emulate the NES in your brain.
I can emulate anything in my brain. Like I had a Tulpa of mine do a full like new game 2 plus
You can
playthrough
run
of
Doom on
Bloodborne.
it. You can run Doom on your Wonderland.
Exactly. But I was gonna bring this up because this is just a side tangent meme thing. One of my Tulpa has 4 arms, and he mains ice climbers, but he controls each ice climber separately with a different controller in each set of hands. That is all.
This is beautiful.
That's
Anything is possible.
oh my god,
in
you cut out
Tulpa.
hard. Thank you.
This is great.
This is
Yeah,
your brain on Tulpa.
Brain emulation is fantastic. I cannot stress how fantastic this is. I can emulate like entire albums I listen to front to back on sound systems that are in my Wonderland.
You can use vinyl or cassette or any of that.
Yeah, no, I have a vinyl scratch Tulpa, literally who has a vinyl turntable, and she's the biggest nerd, and I love this because. Dude, when I found out that she had a completely different top 10 albums list than me, I'm like, Tulpa are fucking great, dude. And what was great about it is like her number 2 album is Justice's Cross, which is I love
Good
it.
album.
But
Good
at
album.
the time, I was like, this is a good album, 8 out of 10. And then I listened to it with her, with like her explaining why she loved it so much, and I'm like, holy shit, what? This like totally grew on me with like another listen. So. Just the fact that I can have an album experience and replay it to a Tulpa and have it grow on them and not me, like that's fucking insane.
Yeah.
That is so insane. Tulpa are crazy, dude.
What is Tulpa like music you hate and makes you listen to it on the radio?
I've
thank God
heard
I have
of
no Tulpa
that.
like that.
But normally that doesn't happen just because your Tulpa are like it's not even like inherent, like you do it on purpose, but they're just like inherently synergistic with you.
Yeah.
Unless
Yeah,
you're
and-
like crazy or something and go out of your way to make a Tulpa you hate, which
No, I wanted to talk about this too because I had to embrace that they're just synergizing with me at some point because I'm like, okay, the meme for a while is that one of my first personality traits that I forced onto Kaylee does not like jazz, and that was, I just wanted to see what would happen. I don't know what my thought process was behind that, but I'm just like, okay, Kaylee does not like jazz. And so she obviously reversed this in like the subconscious deviation phase, which all Tulpa have to some extent. Have you had that explained to you before?
Sort of.
When a Tulpa is sentient, possibly vocal, but not like fully developed, Tulpa go through a subconscious deviation phase where like in the back of your mind they'll very subtly change things, or sometimes dramatically, like could be a form change that they prefer over what you gave them, certain personality traits that just swap at random. But every Tulpa goes to it to a certain extent.
you could definitely argue that Tulpa always deviate to a degree. Like the more you interact with them.
I believe that actually, but that I don't think that's true for everybody. It's just true for me a little bit because my Tulpa are still like tweaking their default forms and changing stuff. I don't know. It's just not nearly as drastic as it was in like the first 6 months or whatever. I don't remember what I was talking about, but yeah, that's subconscious deviation.
Nice.
But yeah, jazz. So the whole meme was she doesn't like jazz and she makes fun of me for forcing it on her. But no, we all enjoy jazz, which is excellent because jazz is great.
Jazz is nice. So what was the next-
Jazz appreciation.
Jazz appreciation.
this is my Tulpa jazzercise group. Do you want to talk about imposing on roller coasters?
Yeah, that'd be kind of fun. Because I have 9 Tulpa, that's a lot, and most of the time it's hard to manage imposing all of them at once.
Yeah.
But there's a strange exception to this, which I have found that it is very easy to impose all of my Tulpa while riding a roller coaster with empty seats. And I'm a coaster enthusiast, so I go to several parks a year, and I'll do like one big trip every year or so often.
Roller Coaster Tycoon.
That got me hooked on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am a huge fan of that series. I have sunk many hundreds of hours, probably thousands in that whole series. Imposing on roller coasters when they have like fixed seats and they don't move out of them, it's really easy to do. And so I don't know who this applies to, but if you're listening and you have Tulpa, imposing on a roller coaster is fucking fun. It's so fun.
I'd also imagine
the
movie
real
theaters would be
controller.
good. I'd also imagine movie theaters would be good because you have a lot of seats around
I also do that in movie theaters. I'll have like most of my Tulpa imposing in a movie theater, unless they're just like not interested in the movie at all, and they'll just like fuck off into the Wonderland.
Yeah.
If
But
briefly,
I do that.
briefly, Kitty Hat's actually the world record holder for one of the Roller Coaster Tycoon games.
Oh yeah. I have the speedrun world record for all 3 campaigns of RCT3,
Damn.
and they're all the dumbest fucking memes. If you know anything about speedruns, you know that a good speedrun game is one that can be optimized. And RCG3 kind of can't, and here's the reason. Well, it can up to a certain extent because it manages win conditions by blocks of a month in game time. You can only win
by waiting
once per month. Like it checks the win condition every month, and so you can only optimize the run by chunks of months, and so it just makes it very, very hard to optimize it. So no one actually wants to speedrun it, but I did it, and I have the record because no one else is dumb enough to attempt this.
We're gonna see you at Awesome Games Done Quick.
I kind of want to just... That'd be so funny to do a run of that at AGDQ, because I can do it in 3.5 hours. I could probably get it down to 3:10, maybe 3:05 or 3. But it's actually like a genuinely enjoyable run. There's a bunch of stupid tricks, and I actually found out a tech, which is if you know anything about the game, there's a objective called a VIP where a famous person goes to your park and then wants to do a particular thing, and then they leave. And then if you satisfy the requirements, you can get the objective. If you don't, you don't. After they've done the objective and they're sick of the park and want to go home, it'll show up a little message like saying, "Oh, the VIP wants to go home." And after that shows up, you can click on the VIP, pick him up, and then drop him down on a space that doesn't have a path, and then he'll just teleport out of the park, and it saves like an entire minute.
Nice.
It's crazy. So I found that out accidentally. There actually is speed tech in Roller Coaster Tycoon 3.
Nice.
That's all I have to say about that game, because if you let me go, I will continue talking about that game.
Yep, definitely. You gotta have me on your couch. And then we'll have two people with Tulpa, and we'll just drop it randomly in the AGDQ run and just not mention it.
And then Proto Magical Girl will come on.
Yeah,
oh my god.
Shout outs to Proto Magical Girl for getting plural people at AGDQ, and then just that's all we'll say.
And
just be as vague as possible about
and each Tulpa donates $100. We'll donate $100 for every Tulpa we have.
Oh god.
It's like at least like $1,300 on just with the two of us. It's one of those things too where you just think of, like, at least in Arizona, like the magnitude of like Tulpa per person just gets crazy.
Yeah.
Like just thinking about like the semantics, like, oh, there's like how many people I could talk to in this chat, like this Discord chat of 8 people.
yeah, that's the other thing. I didn't talk about this because that one friend I said who started making Tulpa of her OCs, yeah, she has about 250 Tulpa.
Fuck.
Yeah.
I thought it was 100.
No, it's well, I haven't asked her recently. It might be more. It actually might be more, but it's at the very minimum 220. It's crazy. She loves all of them, and she's I mean, obviously she doesn't like have time for active forcing with all of them, but they have their Wonderland is literally a city. It's crazy. They all live in it, and it's multiple. It's like multiple towns, and they have like a super detailed Wonderland that they have all mapped out. And it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. I love it. I love talking to her about it too, because I mean, she could go on for hours about this shit. Because there's so much. There's like actual history and culture, like inside her head. That's crazy. I mentioned I love Tulpa, dude. Like the fact that this shit is possible is just fantastic.
Dude, her city has like a newsletter every week, and she prints it out and hands it to everyone in real life.
I think I asked about that, and one of her Tulpa joking started a newspaper.
Yeah, and then you make it in real life and say, "This is what happened in my city, in my head today."
The Tulpa Times.
But yeah, she had Tulpa that like would actually just procreate, because that's just how her Wonderland physics worked. Tulpa babies.
Oh,
like
don't think about it too hard.
It's a good meme. And just a side note, to anybody listening, don't do that. It's probably not good for your ad. But I mean, she made it work. But I would like to think that I don't know, just be cautious. Just know your own limits in your own head.
And because some people definitely go too far, and then they combine Tulpa or something.
Because walk-ins happen, and yeah, walk-ins are crazy.
Would you like to talk about how you prevent walk-ins personally, and I can say maybe how I would do it?
So I had 5 walk-ins out of my 9 Tulpa. A couple of them were like crazy volatile. Like 2 of them let me just work backwards from here. Okay, one of them was I was like making a cave in my Wonderland early on, and I wanted a dragon in this cave. And the dragon just became a Tulpa, like vocal within one day. And
damn.
I was so baffled, because that was my second Tulpa, and my first Tulpa, Kaylee, took well over 5 months to become reliably vocal. And this one dude just fucking shows up, provably sentient, and vocal in one day, and my mind was just completely shattered. It was truly something else.
It definitely shows that after your first Tulpa, it's just the time is exponentially lowered.
Yeah, because
Like-
the mind API is there. Like, you have an API for creating that black box of sensory input and output that a Tulpa is. And once you know how to make a second one, it can just go downhill or uphill, depending on how you look at it. If I had not prevented all the walk-ins that happened, I would have had 12 Tulpa by now, because I had 3 that were like that had like shown hints of sentience, but I like put in a sort of quarantine and just checked on like several days later. Like, is this actually sentient?
The Tulpa virus needs
Is
to
this
be
just a server
quarantined.
that like and I had prevented 3 walk-ins like that. One of which was a dream character, actually, that I feel like the dream had just planted this idea in my head and had made it into a servitor that, like, had showed up under some strange circumstances in the Wonderland. Yeah, I've just had some strange stories. My favorite story of which, he's my 7th Tulpa, who I was just, like, laying in bed. I wasn't even in state, I was on vacation. I was just laying in bed. It was like 11 p.m. One of my Tulpa just walks into my room, and he's just like, hey, yeah, I just found a Tulpa. And I had brought him in and asked him what the fuck was going on, and he had been, like, roaming my Wonderland for at least 3 days before we found him, and he was completely sentient the whole time, and it was really strange.
I
He's still
remember
here. We love
also
him.
being on vacation, and you were texting me about it. Like, I remember hearing about it and be like, oh, that's crazy. And just, like, I don't know, it was just always kind of fun, where it was like, oh, X person has a new Tulpa, and it's like, what? And like everyone would like freak out, and it's like, oh, you gotta meet the new Tulpa, which is probably why we ended up with so many.
Yeah.
I loved that phase. I'm not gonna lie, I loved that phase so much.
It was really fun, but it like had to stop somewhere,
yeah.
which we definitely all
At
found.
some
Like,
point.
yeah, we've all found our limits,
Except Katie.
except Katie, who is
250.
an immeasurable amount of excess energy and creative potential, and dwarfs us all. Personally,
Brain knows no limits.
What if we were
Yeah.
all in Katie's Wonderland and we don't know it?
I would love that.
What if this world is just Katie's Wonderland?
the world would be a better place.
The world would be full of like Fire Emblem characters and bizarre Anthro OCs, and she'll like casually bring up a Tulpa she has, and I'd be like, "What the fuck? You have a blank Tulpa?" And this conversation has happened like 7 times before, where she'll just have like, I don't know, she seems like she has a character Tulpa from like every series that I've ever heard of.
Nice.
Especially Fire Emblem. I think she has like 9 Fire Emblem.
Yeah.
Her favorite, which is Chrom.
Chrom is a good boy.
Chrom is hilarious.
This is Elmo's world and we're all just living in it.
Dude, that's the dream.
Personally, I stop walk-ins by just like about the same way, where it's just like you need to be like, okay, this is not a Tulpa yet. I could make it into one if I put more effort into it, but I'm just gonna preemptively say no. Like I can't do anymore. Like bad brain, stop it.
That's what I should have done, but I don't know. My quarantine method seemed to work out okay.
It's like yeah, like no regrets, you know. Like you wouldn't undo your Tulpa.
Resident Tulpa.
Definitely not. I mean, obviously now, but weirdly touchy question though.
Yeah, it's weird to think about and like how you could have done things differently. But you know, the past is the past, and you can only move forward.
It just be like this. Whatever. I'm happy. We're all happy.
Yeah.
The AZ Tulpa cult is while we don't talk nearly as much as the golden days of 2014. It's still going strong. Most of us still live in AZ.
Damn.
And
That school
yeah.
should have a Tulpa club and like
we jokingly considered it.
yeah.
Like just having like I don't know, the high school club equivalent of your Discord chat. Like that was the idea, where we'd have like, oh yeah, you can discuss like astral projection and lucid dreaming and like tulpamancy and shit at school. And then we decided that'd be fucking stupid, and then didn't do it.
Yeah, I want to go to one of those club fairs and just see you guys just like, hey, want to make a Tulpa? Want to meet my Tulpa?
And just have somebody possess like mid-interview and baffle the person completely.
Join our club
Welcome.
and you can fuck us in roleplay.
Possession is such a good meme, because like I know so many tulpamancers out there who have not had possession on possession interaction with another tulpa, because like they use possession for like, I don't know, their tulpa just wants to interact with the world or whatever.
Yeah.
But like our tulpa did it because our tulpa wanted to interact with the other tulpa directly in person,
Damn.
and that was a completely different beast.
No one had sex.
A lot of no one had sex. We had cuddling though. That happened. It was gay, but it wasn't gay because one of us was a girl.
Oh, 2
What?
Tulpa possessed got married, but when they not possessed, they take off the ring.
That would be something else.
You have a birth certificate and marriage certificate with
future.
2 Tulpas.
I mean, I have friends where I'm better friends with their Tulpa than I am with them. Like that. I don't know. There's so many weird things that happen with that kind of shit. Again, like when you bring up Tulpa, weird shit goes down. There's
This
so
is the
many
future I
strange
want.
social situations that can happen.
Especially being young, like being in high school age. It just lends
Being
to...
hormonally volatile.
Yep.
Yeah, this is the future Ben Shapiro wants to stop.
The future where everyone has a government mandated Tulpa.
To spy on them.
Your Tulpa will be assigned.
We'll hypnotize you to have a Tulpa that loves America and reports you.
Yeah, they'll just play the Fede's tones on TV. Brainwash the masses.
Should we, like, address who Fede is? I don't think...
No. All you need to know is he has made
don't
tones.
actually know. I just know he's a meme. Please explain him.
Okay, so Fede, this was actually before I was in the Tulpa, and I've only ever, like, heard of it by proxy and seen old .info threads. But Fede was this guy who insisted that the, like, proper way to make Tulpa was to listen to these weird tones and follow his, like, strict regiment and methods. And so that's why there's this big meme about Fede's methods and tones, and apparently they're, like, really just jarring and awful to listen to and didn't help anyone and just hurt your head.
You didn't listen to my
But
tones.
But he insisted. I think I've listened to one and I was just like, what the hell is this?
Again, guides are a meme.
It's just binaural beats gone wrong.
And binaural beats are kind of a placebo meme, too.
They
Like,
really are.
What do you mean?
I mean,
I've
they-
changed gender from man to woman by listening to binaural beats. They totally work.
yeah, I mean,
The
they
you-
help.
The YouTube
But, like-
binaural beats video turned me gay.
I smoked weed just
Oh my
once,
God.
and now I'm gay.
It's true, it happens.
I
It
had
could
a...
happen to you.
Okay, I had a phase. I actually don't remember if this was before or after I started forcing a Tulpa. It was in my /MLP days, because they had pony hypnosis threads.
Nice.
And, yeah, that was a good meme.
And I can finally
I
become
was-
a pony dickmare.
I can finally become Pinkie Pie. And they had like tons of these hypnosis files to like turn you into a pony. It was amazing. The internet has created some horrible beasts in its time, and this is one of them.
I personally was never into ponies, but I remember you guys talking about that, and it was just like, what? Goddamn.
Yeah, Ken and I did it. I felt a hoof at one point,
Ooh.
and then I'm like, I don't know if this is for me.
I like
and then stopped
fingers.
doing it. I found the file on my computer like last year and had a fucking PTSD flashback. It was just like sitting on my hard drive. Oh no, even worse than that. Back in my high school days, my only access to internet, like that, because I had a flip phone, my internet access was limited to a Kindle tablet, and so it had one tab of like a web browser. It was such a shitty web browser because it was e-ink and it was super slow. It had an MP3 player on it, like that could hold like 32 songs or some shit. It was barely anything. And yeah, I booted that thing up a couple years ago, just like because I found this like super dusty. Oh, it's a Kindle in my drawer, and it had that fucking file on it
Damn.
alongside the entirety of Gorilla's Demon Days and the Nero's Dubstep Symphony, because I was so into dubstep at the time.
Do you think people who know past lives have PTSD from past lives?
I would not doubt it if they felt PTSD from past lives, but I would call into question the origin of these traumas. That's all I have to say on that subject. Yeah, hypnosis is a great meme. I have experience with that.
It's fun. If you want more information on hypnosis and Tulpa, please refer to Verp. He's very, very knowledgeable and very helpful on this subject.
Yes. He wants to make a tulpa to hypnotize him.
Oh,
Okay, I have a Tulpa who has shown the ability to hypnotize other Tulpa in head, and has given some of that effect to me, like through practice. And it is very strange being hypnotized by a Tulpa.
Oh,
I can't fully explain like how it works because it doesn't make any sense when I put it in. But yeah, Tulpa possession is a real thing if you're mind allows for it.
personally, I've done guided meditation with Tulpa, and hypnosis is pretty much guided meditation. So
Yeah.
I'm sure you could have him like a Tulpa hypnotize you. That's all self-exploration. All you little kiddies at home,
That's the thing.
go try for yourself. It's your homework.
Go try it for yourself. Go try it at home. That's the best thing about Tulpamancy is you can try anything. if you so desire it. Recently, I had a Tulpa possess for the first time in like several months and work out for me.
Nice.
Because he offered, and so I'm like, all right, fuck it, why not? So I had him possessed during my work break, and so he was like still at work and had set up like, because I work at a movie theater,
Yeah.
and he had set up this little like bench in the back, and I was weightlifting jugs of butter, like 5-gallon jugs of butter.
Nice.
That's just a small tangent.
Dude, what if you
Possession can be very healthy. I like it.
what if you made a tulpa? What if you're a boxer and you shadow box with your tulpas?
Unironically, that could be fun.
Yeah, because
Like because Ken spars with Bowser. Yeah.
oh shit.
Yeah, Ken has a Bowser Tulpa that he like spars with, and does that regularly. So there's your answer.
Yeah, I mean, shadow boxing is a thing that a lot of really good boxers do. So if you just make tulpas to box, then you can play through Punch Out in real life.
This is my
Yeah,
little
that's
Mac Tulpa.
oh god, that's so there's so much potential for that. Like playing games with your Tulpa is so fucking healthy. It's crazy. Like I said earlier, how you can emulate games with your Tulpa.
Yeah.
Like video games. There's a room in my Wonderland that's dedicated to board game stuff, and so in real life, I have a friend who has a bunch of board games, and every time I go to his house, I learn like 3 new board games, and I'll just have those like rule sets just stored in the back of my head, and so I'll just walk on my Tulpa playing a game that I haven't picked up in years, but they still remember all the rules to. And on the flip side of that, a while back I was trying this because I don't know why I don't do this more. Maybe because it looks so depressing when you're doing it, but it's actually great. Is having a Tulpa possess one of your arms and play a board game with yourself.
Chess.
That's actually a lot of fun. Yeah.
Wait, can you play games if like it requires the other person to not know what you're doing?
Sorta.
You could, but I am not that level. I'm not that level yet. I've heard of people who can possess, and then while their Tulpa is possessing them, they go off into their own little bubble, and they don't have any access to their own bodily senses. I am not at that point. I am kind of like a backseat driver in my own head. Like, I still have all the same sensory input.
Yeah.
The way I see it, and I don't know, maybe I can overwrite this at some point, but the way I see it, it's hard-coded for me. Like, sensory input is just hard-coded to my black box.
Personally, I can kind of do it, and I've had like a little experience, but it really feels like it's just suspension of disbelief, where it's like, oh, no, I don't know, but sometimes it's like, oh, that's why they did that, and it's like, oh, wait, great, I broke it. And so it kind of works, and I imagine if you could practice it, you could get better at it, but it's mostly just like they could just help me, they could work with me on my side of a chess game, and I can just play someone online or something, and it's a lot more, I guess, elegant,
Yeah.
But yeah, playing board games with your Tulpa is really under. I'll say that. It's so easy to do it too. Like, even if you don't possess, you'll just like have impose across from you and like move a piece, and then you'll just move the piece for them, or like roll the dice for them or whatever.
And there's a lot of games that are so random that, strategy doesn't matter as much.
Yeah, and it's just kind of fun to just play a game. Like, you don't even need one that requires skill, but it does help if you want to develop, like, I don't know, you can develop parallel processing like that. That's a really, really helpful tool.
Or you could even do stuff like D&D, where you literally,
Yes.
But D&D's played in your Wonderland, and it's IOL.
Yes, you can totally do that. You can have an alternate Wonderland, like a side Wonderland, just for role playing.
Yeah.
Where you can totally DM with your Tulpa and then role play. I do not have the coordination to do that, sadly, yet. I will eventually. I'm working up to that point. It's difficult for me. I'll say that. But I know people who have done like full campaigns with their Tulpa. It's cool as shit.
Can you talk to your tulpas in your dreams?
I have.
Cannot.
I've had it happen a couple times. And I've had dreams about my Tulpa, and I've also had dreams with my Tulpa.
Same.
And they're different.
They are different.
And
I know what you mean.
Yeah. And I definitely had a dream where Cynthia was there. And it was just like the weird dream logic, and Cynthia was just like, wait, what? Like, what's happening? And
I only have one time of that ever happening. It was just a weird dream where I saw Tulpa just laying on like a bench at a beach or something. And I had asked her about it later. I'm like, was that you? And she was like, yeah, I was dreaming I was on a beach or whatever. That's the only time that ever happened, because what I have forced into my own Wonderland is that all my Tulpa have their own sleep schedules and their own dreams. And so, like, this is kind of cool doing this early on and figuring this out. Yeah, I'll have Tulpa, like, go to bed early or, like, wake up before me. I've had experiments where I've had my Tulpa stay up all overnight, like pulling all nighter while I'm sleeping, and that's worked too. It's surprisingly good. Yeah, Tulpa and sleep have a strained relationship.
Yeah, because you said you can travel. Because I've heard experiences of like shared dreams, and you have shared wonderlands. Are those at all connected or separate?
I have never dreamt in my Wonderland. Or do you mean
Yeah,
like
I haven't either.
with like other Tulpamancers?
Well, I mean, you guys talked about shared wonderlands where you can.
Oh, that was a meme. So going back to like the method that we had for interacting with Tulpa's head, where you had the server that looks like the other Tulpa controlled by text.
Yeah.
Well, you would be interacting with that Tulpa in a shared wonderland. So you'd have like a wonderland that you agreed upon, and then like one person would visualize it their way, and then you would visualize it your way, and it would hopefully sync up.
Definitely, we know people with spiritual Tulpa who have who like astral projected and stuff like that. But personally, I've never experienced.
We're not on that level.
Okay,
We're-
that's
we're
the
on-
meme.
we're-
Got it.
We're on the physical. We're on the mental side of it, not the spiritual
Yeah,
side.
I mean, it's like I'm not gonna say their experiences aren't real, but I've never experienced it. And I personally like don't understand. It's just it's a whole different thing that I'm not really like a part of.
I don't know. I want to talk to them more about it, but whenever I think about it, they're like sleeping or offline or
Going to
Going back
Katy
to
City.
just go to that.
Yeah.
I had a couple experiences where because my Tulpa have only ever gone on my dreams on that one occasion. I can like infiltrate a Tulpa's dream,
Nice.
and my Tulpa have like a completely different way of dreaming. It's really hard to explain,
Whoa.
but they have more simple dreams. I'll put it that way. Like smaller in scope, and sometimes it only involves them and a couple servitors in like a small temporary headspace. Yeah, I mean having Tulpa have separate dreams is pretty cool, and that's totally possible. A lot of people don't do that. I don't know why.
I personally do not have that, but everyone's experiences are different,
Wow.
and that's what makes it so magical, I suppose.
Magical.
Even in its very mental way, mental as in brain wise, not crazy. Tulpa can be, kind of romantic or like very different and like still has a magic to it. So I'm not sure if we had anything quite more to go over, or if we're gonna wrap up.
Do you have any more to say?
I'm trying to think if there's anything that I didn't cover that I wanted to, but the AZ Tulpa cult.
I think you got
yeah.
most of it.
Well, I just want to say fuck Phoenix. I hate this city so it's just this giant suburban sprawl that has all the downsides of a big city with like none of the upsides. It's so devoid of culture. It's terrifying.
There are definite
I-
reasons why so many people have Tulpa here.
Yeah,
It's
there's
because
so many reasons-
nothing
yeah.
else to do.
There's nothing to do here. Like in this whole city of like what is it, like 4 million people, we have a whopping total of like 2 roller coasters.
Oh no.
That's it. It's bad. I have to drive 6 hours to the nearest good park, and that makes me sad. That's not even it. I wish I had a local scene. I wish there was like more historical structures that had been preserved from before. Like all there is just prefab housing for miles. It's horrible. You have to drive like 20 minutes through the same like 10 copy pasted neighborhoods to get anywhere. I hate the city so much. But yeah, that's why Tulpa happened. It's because we were depressed and it's suburban sprawl and there's nothing to do. And yeah, it's the same reason why there's a bunch of crackheads and stoners in this state too. It's because there's nothing to do in this whole ass state.
Yep.
Unless you're like
100%.
super outdoorsy, which we are not. We're really not.
It's hard to be outdoorsy too because half the year it's like 100+ degrees.
I know. The other half, I just don't want to do anything.
Yeah, 'cause it's so nice. It's like, wow, I finally get to relax outside. But yes,
I wanna
that's
live in
Phoenix.
Oregon. That's the meme. Is that at someday all the AZ Tulpamancers will just move to Oregon in the same house.
Nice. I'll
Same
move in
house.
too because I live in Washington.
Oh, shit!
Hey.
Hell yeah! Move to Portland with us. We'll all just like crash at my uncle.
I'm an
That's
hour
the
from
dream.
Portland, so that's not hard.
9 Tulpamancers in the basement.
9 Tulpamancers in the showers at Ram.
5 little tulpas jumping out of bed. One.
Oh no, I love the shit out of Oregon. I can't wait to move there because I'm a photographer, and that's it.
Oh, nice.
About AZ is I hate being a photographer here because you have to drive like 20 minutes to get to anything remotely interesting.
Yeah. Do you use a real film or digital?
I know how to use film. I have a film camera with like 3 lenses, but I prefer not to use it.
Yeah.
I have it on hand for school time, and then otherwise I have an adapter
Oh, they
A
can use
Sony
adapters.
A7 III.
Cool.
Yeah, you can have an adapter, but only for mirrorless cameras because the lens or the sensor on mirrorless cameras is closer to the lens. So native lenses for mirrorless cameras don't work on DSLRs, your film cameras, but with an adapter that lengthens the distance between the mount and the lens, or the mount and the sensor, then you can use those lenses on mirrorless. So that's why I have a mirrorless. Super nice, but very very niche. I could also go way more into depth about photography shit if you really wanted me to.
No,
But
I really haven't.
I
just
kept
photography,
I kept it to a minimum because it's not actually that interesting. It's just a good artistic outlet, and I can Tulpa Force while doing it, and also listen to music while doing it. So
Nice.
it just works out.
Yeah. I forgot to ask. How normal are you on a scale of 1 to 10?
I actually consider myself pretty handsome, and I'm 6'7", so I could get some pussy if I want to. However, huge caveat is no, I'm not normal at all. And so outward appearance, I would look like an 8 or 9 maybe, but like I'm secretly a horrible degenerate 9 Tulpa. So I'm gonna go with the 2.5.
2.5.
On that one. I'm gonna go 2.5.
The extra half is your body height. It wouldn't be a 2, but you're just so tall.
Dude, do you want some of my height? I'll gladly give it to you.
No.
I can't fit in some back seats of cars. I've gotten kicked off on roller coasters before.
Oh no. That's
I have to
horrible.
I have to custom order all my pants. Being tall low key sucks. Not even gonna lie.
True.
Like 6'2" is like the sweet spot.
Yeah.
Anything taller than 6'4" is like you're a freak who has to custom order pants. Fuck you.
Damn.
Give me a single inch so I can hit 6 foot.
I would give you
Same.
like 2 inches gladly.
Just give your inches to us. Oh, that
I'm
sounds
stuck
bad.
in the.
Oh my god, I'd love to.
Put your
My
inches
ideal
in my
height
body.
is like 6'3".
Oh, there you go.
6'3" is like the upper limit of
Just
like
cut off your feet.
normal. Yeah, I'll just do that. I actually like my feet, and here's why. I'm size 13, which is like the upper limit of what's considered normal. So stores carry it,
Yeah.
and I actually own a pair of Heelys that fit me, which is great.
Heelys.
Fuck yeah, I own a pair of Heelys. But anything larger than size 13, and they just don't sell them in stores. So I'm glad I didn't grow any harder than that.
Man, I want
Yeah,
a
those
Heely
are-
revival of hoverboards and segways.
Please, just like battery powered Heelys with the batteries in the heels.
Yeah.
How hard? It wouldn't even be that hard. You just have one drive in the
No,
back.
it's just a
back
micro
wheel.
USB charging port. You don't even need to replace it.
Oh my god, that'd be perfect.
You have a battery pack on you to charge your Heelys.
If I was still an engineer, I'd patent this shit right now.
Yes.
But I flunked out so fucking hard at engineering school because, Jesus Christ, I went to
Heelys.
ASU.
You turn it
It was
on by
not-
curling your toes.
That was not the reason why. But yeah, I flunked. I failed calculus 3 times and chemistry for engineers twice, and that was fucking bad. So now I'm a photographer because I don't have to learn math for that shit, and it's something that I get artistic pleasure out of. So yeah, I don't care if I'm making not any money off of it because it feels good.
Nice.
That's all I gotta say about that shit. I admire Lowell for sticking with his biology degree because holy shit, I know how much dumbass shit he has to deal with.
I don't gotta do math either. I only have to
Oh,
take up the
nice.
calc. Well, I did have to take calc, and I have 1 semester left, and then I'm gonna be a real adult with all these
Wow.
goofy brain demons and crazy things, and waste my money on
Yeah.
pregnancy pillows so I can impose Tulpa
Oh.
over them.
Wait, I actually forgot to mention this. I'm a wizard, so I'm
Nice.
a virgin.
Of course.
I have had very little experience with girls, but I don't have any problem with talking to them. I just don't have like
Yeah.
dating experience because
Yeah.
I never felt like I was emotionally ready for it. I guess because of shit going on in my life, and then Tulpa happened, and I'm still not quite at that point. But at one point in 2016, I had a girlfriend for a total of 1 week, and I made the mistake of introducing Tulpamancy to her, and she thought I was fucking insane. And it has scarred my experience of how people can interact with her because like we had such good chemistry up until that shit, and it just completely threw a wrench into it. It was awful. But yeah, that was that. I'm hoping to find just a girl that tolerates this shit. That's all I want. That's all I ask for. I have such low standards. All I want is somebody who can like appreciate Spec Ops: The Line and likes Tulpa and isn't obese and isn't taller than me because that'd be weird. That's all I have.
Yeah. Well, that sure was a roller coaster of a podcast.
Wow.
Da-da-da-da-da-da.
I guess we'll wrap it up then. Any final thoughts?
Bye-bye, everyone.
Wait, Charles, what's your favorite roller coaster?
I don't know. I don't ride a lot of roller coasters. I would one in Tokyo. I guess that's my favorite. The one I would in Tokyo.
Shit, where was that?
I don't know, but like there was like
You don't
cat
know where it
girls on it
was?
and stuff. It was cool.
Dude, I could if you give me any semblance of detail, I could totally tell you.
I could look it up.
Dude, try me. No, don't even look it up. Just tell me guess it.
No, I don't know. It was just like this one roller coaster in Tokyo.
All right, fine. I'll leave it at that then.
Use 8chan/Tulpa before it dies.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
8chan's gonna die and burn soon, so get your memes in now.
Get your memes.
Get your post-apocalyptic Tulpa memes
One day
while they're still hot.
I would love to make a Tulpa-chan, but I would have to learn a lot to do that. So maybe one day in the future I'll be on here shelling that instead.
Nice.
You should have showed that earlier. That'd have been hilarious.
If I'll make it eventually. I shelled 8chan Tulpa a bunch last podcast, so I didn't want to go too hard. Alright.
No, that's okay. That brought some decent publicity to it, and you should totally tell people use 8ch.net/Tulpa. Go to it. It's good.
Good.
Except I don't actually use it because I don't gain anything from using it. But so take it or leave it. It's a thing. That is all. That's all I have. I'm Kitty Head. Thanks for inviting me on.
Thanks for having us,
Yep.
Charles.
Thanks for letting me talking about the Arizona Tulpa madness.
Yes.
And yeah, that's all I got.
Alright. See you guys on the astral plane.
Bye.
Bye.
See ya.